So, like I said, it is not all data set that will have all of these data quality issues. What you just have to have in mind is that you are checking for something that is wrong with this data. So now I have this data, and let's say that I have not seen this data set before. Okay, now data cleaning comes with a couple of challenges. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it with for you. All right, so if I'm working on this data, I can meet some, because I've not cleaned this data before, even before this class. So you can meet some stumbling blocks, some things that would have you to go and research on and come back to it. It is totally fine, as long as at the end of the day you are getting it done. All right, so what you just need to watch out for, it is these data quality issues that I've identified, and some more that you would see while you continue to clean data sets. Okay, now we have this data. How do you check whether they have these data quality issues? You check each of the columns. You use your filter for each of these columns and check every single thing. Okay, so when you click on this filter, you would see all the values in your data. Now, Power Query actually has limits, which means that it has a limit of 1000 rows. It cannot display more than 1000 rows for you. Okay, it displays just 1000 rows. But when you clean your data, when you clean the values that you have in a particular column, it affects other values as well. And if there are other values that are not exactly affected, or maybe especially when it comes to data type, they will return an error. So it is going to tell you that something is wrong with the other data sets that were not displayed. All right, so you are covered in that aspect. So let's just move on. Now I have this first one, and I'm checking what is wrong with this. So now it is displaying a limited number of data. Can you see that this is 1000, up to 1000? So if I load more now, it can give me more. Looking at this one here, it can give me more. Now if I scroll down, this data is actually 1000 rows. Okay, but then if you scroll down, if you have more than 1000, it will show you 1000 here and 1000 only, except of course maybe it's not numbered like this one. Okay, then it will just give you the row, the 1000th row. All right, now looking at this data, now looking at this column, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this column, except the fact that they are blank cells. Okay, they have blank cells, but we are coming back to that, because now we can actually decide that let us deselect everything and check if our blank cells have corresponding rows in other columns. All right, we can check the blank cells and say, okay, let us see if they have corresponding values, and look at it, there are no corresponding values. Can you see this is null, empty, 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 and like that? So what can we do? We can get rid of that. That is, we are already starting the data cleaning process. Okay, we are getting rid of these blank cells from here. So how do we get rid of it? You can just come here directly. When you click on this, let's remove this filter first. So when you click on this, you would see something called remove empty. So remove empty removes every single empty rows that you have in that column, and it removes the corresponding rows as well. So if I remove empty now, it's going to remove every of the blank cells. Can you see that it's seeing it as what? A filtered row step. Remember that our steps are being recorded. Now that column is cleaned. We are good to go. All right. Now the next one is the what? Is the first name column. Now let's see if there is any issue with the first name column. All right, now one thing I also want you to take note is that if you look at this, what we have here, we have valid, error, empty. It's also something that I like to check, which is this tells you that your column is filled up to the brim. Not like filled up to the brim, but it's saying that there are no empty cells. That's what, when you see 100%, it means that there are no empty cells. When you have error, it returns error when there is, maybe you try to change. It mostly happens with data type. When you try to change the data type and is not actually really working, it will return error. So it will now show you the percentage, because sometimes you might not know that there's error in your data, but this one will show you that. Then empty is when you have empty cells. You can see that this one is now 0% because we have taken care of it. Now in your Power Query, you might not have this. Maybe it is not selected. So for you to select it, You will go to your view tab and you will see something called column quality. If you deselect column quality like this, why is it not selecting? Let me see. I think it's because I filtered the row, although I don't want to believe that. But let's see. It's not because of that. I'm wondering why it's not selecting. Okay, let's just go on. But this is how you in case your own is not showing. If this is deselected, it will not show. But if you select it, it will show. Okay. So let's just go back to removing the what's it called, the empty cells. Remove empty. Okay, and we are good. So the next one is this first name. So if we look at this drop down here, we'll check whether they have any of those errors that we are watching out for, right? So we have their names. Scrolling all the way down, there is no error. Okay, the names are just the names. Now sometimes the names might not just be the names, especially when the names are not spelled correctly. So let's say it's a particular data that you are very familiar with. Like if you have worked with the FIFA data before, there are some names that were not correctly spelled or that were having some unusual characters. So if you are familiar with the data set and you know that Aaron should not be spelled like this, you know, you already see that that is a data quality issue that you need to address. But for now, we are good. So same with the last name. Now let's go on to where we actually want to focus on the other columns. Now this is the contact info column, and this contact info column has their phone number and their Gmail, their email address, and we want them to be in separate columns. All right. Now we treated something like this yesterday. Does anybody want to tell me how we can split this into separate rows? I already said split. I shouldn't have said split, but can anybody tell me the feature that you're going to use to do this?
Split column.
Thank you. Split column. So we just go here, we right click. I'm wondering why all of these are not activated. What's going on? I'm wondering why they are not activated.
Maybe you should log off and come
Yeah,
on again.
I'm thinking of doing that because I'm wondering why it's not. Okay, let me just close it. So I'm just going to close it and take it back. Okay. All right. So I'm still going to walk you through what I'm doing right now, just in case you don't know. But let's just hold on with that for now. So I'm back here. Let me see. Thank you for giving me that suggestion. It has worked. Okay, so here, let me now go and show you that column quality thing. So look at this one now. So if I uncheck this, can you see that they've disappeared? If I check it, they've appeared. Can you see? Let me show you other things as well. Now this one will show you your column profile, which is distribution of what you have in your column. All right, this one is just like brief statistics of what you have in the column that you've selected. Probably you can see the counts, which is 100 rows, the number of errors, the number of empty values, the number of distinct values, the number of unique values, empty strings, and so on and so forth. That's just by the way. Okay, so you'd see something called what other one? This formula bar is to take that off, the formula bar, and take it on. You'll be working with these formulas when you are doing advanced query editor. This is the advanced query editor here, but that's more advanced. Okay, so let's go back to our data. Now somebody said we'll be splitting this, and that is what we are going to be doing. So we're going to split this into separate columns. All right, can anybody tell me what the delimiter is that the delimiter would use to split the number from the email address?
Comma.
Comma.
Thank you. So we'll just go into the split. I'll use the shortcut key here. Go into the split, and we split by what delimiter. Okay. Then we pick our delimiter, which is what, the comma, and of course we want it to be the rightmost delimiter, right? We want it to be the rightmost delimiter. Then we click on OK. All right. Now this is what this is. The phone number. We just changed the column header to phone number, and this is the email address, right? All right. So we have this. We have our phone number and we have our email address, which is good to go. So we move on to the next column. Now, how many data quality issues did we identify? We identified empty cells. We identified merged columns. The columns were merged together. Now, this splitting that we did is a part of data transformation. Okay. You know, I told you yesterday that data transformation is when you have changed the structure of your data. Our data set before had how many columns? Now, if you look at this down here, you would see 16 columns. This one will tell you how many columns you have in your data. So before we had 15 columns. Because we've added one, it is now 16. The fact that you added one more column means you have transformed your data. So it's a part of data transformation. Okay. So let's go on. Now this is another column. Now what is wrong with this column? There are what data quality issue can we see here?
There are no values there.
Yes, a lot, actually, a lot of no values. Now, you know that when it comes to no values, you have to be very careful with how you deal with it, right? Now, no values can come in different form. They can be in the date column, they can be in the numerical column, they can be in different kind of columns. All right. Now, depending on the kind of column that you have, and depending on the kind of analysis you want to do, also depending on the kind of data set that you have, then you need to be able to know how you tackle the column, the empty values. Now we have the age column. How do we tackle the age column? We definitely don't know the age of these people. Now, one way to do this is actually ask questions. Let's say we got this data set from Dangote company now, and we asked Dangote, what are the ages of these employees? But now we don't have, because this is an open source data. As a matter of fact, I got this data set from ChatGPT. So we have this data and we don't know what else to do. So what we need to do with this age column is to be able to fill it with the mean, which is the average age. That is what we need to do to fill in the null values. Okay. Now, how do we go about that? The first thing you need to do is to make sure that your column, if you are filling in with the average, you need to make sure that they are of the correct data type. Okay. You need to make sure that this column actually has the numerical data type. If this column was having letters or text, you'll not be able to find out the average. But seeing that it has the numerical data type, we can go ahead to find out the average. So what we do is to first find out the average. How do we find out the average? Now, we go on to the transform. Now, if you look at this place here, you can see something called standard. All right, so I'm going to deviate a bit and show you what this standard can do. Then we'll now come back to what we wanted to do. All right, so this standard, what it does is it does some arithmetic operation. Okay, you can use it to add, you can use it to subtract, to multiply, divide, modulo, and so on and so forth. So, for example, let's say that we want to add to these ages. You know, I said I want to digress a bit, so we're coming back to what we wanted to do. Okay. So let's say we want to add 2 to these ages. We just come to this standard, then you click on add. All right, then you type in the value that you want to add in. Let's say we want to add in 2. Then you click on what? You click on OK. So what has it done? Can you see that the age has changed and this has been saved here? Okay, we can take this back and we do multiplication, subtraction, and so on and so forth. You just pick the one that you want to do, then you enter the value. For example, let's say we want to divide by a particular value, you do it directly like that. Okay. Now, another thing is that you can actually add 2 different columns together. I don't know if there's another numerical column here. If there isn't, I'll just come back to that. There isn't. So let's just come back to where we are. So the next thing is that if you look at these statistics here, this one perform more statistical operation. Okay, now if you click on this statistic, you see something like the sum. This is the aggregation that I was talking about. Okay, you see sum, you would see minimum, maximum, median, average, and so on and so forth. Count values, count this, count that. I use this when I want to know the number of values, the number of rows that I have in my data set. I want to count it. You use this count values. You just click on it and it will count it for you. Can you see this one is having 510 because it is counting the non-empty, non-null values. That is what it will do. It will not count the empty cells that you have. If you truly want to know the number of rows that you have in your data, what you do is you go here to transform, then you can see what we call count rows here. It's very direct. You just come here and you count, and you see 1050. All right, it has counted it for you. So we cancel this and let's go back to where we are coming from. Okay, so we have this age now, and I was talking about this statistics. So let's go to the transform and statistics. Okay, so I said I want to fill it with the average, right? So with this statistic, you can find out the sum of your column, the minimum value, the maximum value. But what we are concerned with now is the average. So when you click on the average, it's going to give you the average value, which is what? 54.41 blah 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 blah. Okay, but what we are concerned with is the what? Is the 54. That is the average age. Now we've had that in mind, that this is the average age, which is 54. So we are filling in all the null values with what? With 54. We use Power Query to find out the average. If it was Excel, we'll have to type in a particular average function. But here we use Power Query to find out the average because what? Power Query can do aggregation as well. Okay. So can anyone tell me how we are going to fill in these null values with the average value that we just found out? I hope I've not lost connection. Okay.
You can use replace.
You replace the null values with the average number.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to use the replace values. So we can just right click and go to replace values. Then we type in 50 null, or we just leave it as empty. Okay, it's not accepting that. So let's type in null. Then we are replacing with what? 54. And we click on OK. What do we have? Filled up. Can you see that the empty has changed to what? 0%.
0.
So we are good to go. Now I can see that this email address is having empty. I'm trying to, let me see why it's having empty. Let me see the blank. So there's actually probably some data quality issues with this one. So some people don't have email address. Yeah. So it's not our problem on my YouTube channel. And somebody made a comment and said that I left some empty cells in some columns and that it's going to affect the data. And I had to explain to the person in the comment section. So the thing is that not all empty cells are actually wrong, okay? Especially when you don't have enough data to fill up. Now, for example, email address, I don't know their email address. I can ask if the data was coming from someone and fill it in, right? I can ask and fill it in, like I said. I can, I cannot find out the average of email address. What I can just do is, an email address is a sensitive data because it's the email address of these people. So I just have to leave it at that. If I delete these empty cells, look at the number of data that I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose a lot of data, and I don't want to do that. So what can I do? I just leave it at that. If I want to do my analysis, I probably do not even need to use email address when I'm doing analysis, except of course maybe I'm trying to find out the email address of some people staying in some location or whatnot. But if it's not available, there's nothing I can do about it. I can just fill it in with not available, or I leave it like that. Okay, so for that data set, it was actually a particular column containing contract. It was a FIFA data set, contract, free, and I think loan. So for those that are free, they don't have a date, and I didn't feel anything in that date. So the person was bothered, and I was like, if I want to do my analysis, I will have issues with that. And I said, okay, if I want to count the number of rows, I would not pick a column that has that empty cells. I will go and pick a column that has all the cells. Let's say I'm trying to find out the total number of players. Okay, and the only empty cell there is the only empty set of values there is the date, right? So if I now want to use the date, I only work with the people that have dates, which is the contract and the loan. For others, there is nothing to do about them. I just focus on the ones that have the date, and that is going to be included in my insights, that this is the number of people that have that are on loan and on contract, and probably this is their respective date, depending on what analysis you want to do. So this is just to tell you that there are some columns that there is beyond your power, that there is absolutely nothing that you can do about their empty values, except you want to fill it with unavailable, or maybe 1990 if it is a date or something like that. All right, so that's just by the way. Anyway, so let's go back to what we were doing. No, I'm not removing empty. Remove empty. Okay, so let's go back to this one. So we have tackled the age. The next one is this column, which is the gender. Now in this gender column, we have a couple of data quality issues. Now I want someone to tell me to list the data quality issues that you can identify here based on what I said.
Asterisks before M.
One.
Then incomplete spelling of female.
Okay. Yeah, before M, that's one. What's the second one? No, that asterisk before M. I don't want you to call it asterisk before M. I want you to give it the data quality issue term. What is he having? What data quality issue is he having? Anybody?
So it's more like inconsistent data.
Yes.
And
Data is kind
of standardization.
What did you say?
Data standardization.
Not exactly. Not exactly. Not exactly.
Complete spelling.
Incomplete values. Yes, that's two.
Why it has a short, like an just mail, a short format of mail.
Yeah, that's incomplete values. That's three. There is one that I'm waiting for somebody to say.
It does not have a proper format.
Okay, not exactly that. Somebody say it.
It has a different character.
Thank you. Unusual character. That's what I want to hear.
It has a character.
Yes. That asterisk is unusual character. Now, for some that are not probably not yet working in an organization as a data analyst, but when you are in an organization and you are given a data set to clean, well, maybe it's not standard, but for me, this is what I do. Before I begin to clean the data set, I identify the data quality issue. I do data quality assessment. Then I now type in a document the data quality issues that I've identified in this data. Now, when I'm not typing that, I will not say M as asterisk. I would say there are unusual characters in the gender column. That's why I want you to use the actual term, to use this kind of term, so that when you are cleaning the data, you know that, okay, this is the data quality issues that it have. Unusual characters, inconsistent values, because of course, look at the way they are now, then incomplete values. All right. Now you cannot put a semicolon and now explain in detail, especially when you want the actual value to be given to you. Maybe they don't have their age or they don't have their email address. You now say, okay, there are incomplete values and some set of people don't have their email address. You now explain in full detail. But when you are giving that technical term, you say unusual characters, unstandardized formats. It's not in this column actually, but that I'm just giving examples of data quality issues that you can just spell out. All right. So thank you so much for everybody that said something. So we are going to be tackling them one by one, and we are going to be doing it together, like I said. So can anyone tell me how we are going to actually work with the one that has the star first? Let's start with that. So we'll pick them one after the other. So for the ones that have the star, how do you think we can take care of it? You know they are male, right? How do you think we can take care of it? Anyone? Or I should just go ahead?
Come again with the question.
I said for the ones that have asterisk, how do you think we can take care of them?
Yes.
How do you think we can take care of them?
Replace with nothing.
We can use the
Replace with nothing.
with nothing.
Replace with nothing, correct. But you know that
Replace with male.
male, thank you. Replace with male. I hope we are following. So you know that it is star M and it is supposed to be male. So you just carry everything inside your box and replace it with what you want so that you don't stress. And that is very, very direct. So we just replace what? We replace star M with what? With male. And it has been solved. Okay? It has been solved. All right. Now, I want to teach you something, which is, now, if we are doing find and replace, it is absolutely correct for each of them. But you know that there is always go back. So I want us to now do it in a more direct way. So I'm going to be telling you, while I'm doing this, I'm teaching you more about these features of Power Query because we don't have much time to pick one after the other. So we'll go to these add columns. We did not really treat this add column yesterday, but I want to use this opportunity to also carry it along as well. So there is something called additional column, and if you are familiar with the if function in Excel, the if function is more like you're saying if this is this, or this has this, or this is in a certain way, return this. It returns a particular value if the condition is true, okay, and another value if it is false. Now we now want to employ this in Power Query. This conditional column it does the exact thing. It returns a value if a particular condition is met. So let's do it. What do I want to do? Remember that when you are cleaning a data, while you are taking those steps, you need to always remember what you want to do. Now let's go back. I'm going to cancel this one that we did, the replace value. It's correct though. I said it's correct, all right? But we're just going to use this method, so I'll show you. So I want to do everything at once. I'll go to the conditional column. Okay, now this is how it works. What you just do, you say if the particular column that you're working with, so the column that I'm working with now is the gender column, right? So you say if the gender column, if it equals for the ones that have M, is the one that we are dealing with first. We can pick anyone, all right? For the ones that equals what? M, which means that M is the exact value in that thing, in that cell, and there is no other value there. So I'm saying that, now see, when it comes to data cleaning, the method I use for this one might not be the method I use for another thing. So it's okay to know a lot of things, and when you now want to use them, you just begin to pick them and say, okay, this would work for this would work for this. All right? So we want to say that if it is equals to M, then it should return what? Male. Now the if conditional column is actually very sensitive. If you put small letter M here, it will not see it. Okay? If you could put capital letter M, then it will see that M. Now we have dealt with this one, right? Then we now add another clause. This is how you add another clause. You add another one because we have a lot that we are working with. The next one is what? If gender contains what? Star M. Remember that was star M, the star boy. Put star M. Remember it's in lowercase. Then it should also contain what? Male. Okay? The next condition is what? Another one that has this FEM, right? Which is not complete. You can always find that. I hope we are following. So if it contains fem, then it should be what? Female, right? Then we'll go on to the next one, which is Which other one do we have there? Let me check the filter. We
F,
can't really use the filter. Does anybody remember?
F, F, F.
Okay, only F. Yeah. So if it's where is it, gender? If it equals to just F, then it should return what? Female. Now we have dealt with all the data quality issues, although we can come back to it if we do not remember anyone, but we've dealt with it. Now else, which means that okay, if it does not contain all, or if it is not all these conditions are not met, what should we return? Now this is what? This is the rest of the data that are actually okay. If you don't take care of them, it can return null. So you need to make sure that you take care of them. So we are saying that else return the value in that column. So you can select a column or you can enter a value and say else return male. But if you say return male, everything will turn to male. Even the ones that are female will turn to male. So we don't want to do that. But I'm just showing you that you can enter a value. So we say else return a particular column, which is that same column. So what will it do? It will check the column. It will check for the ones that only have M, return this. Check for the ones that only have this, return this. Check for this, return this, return this. For every other one, and remember, every other one is what? Is actually okay. So we are not telling you that for all the ones that are okay, just leave them, give it to me as it be like that. Don't change anything. That's what you are telling it. Okay. Then you click on OK. And in just one step, you have corrected all the data quality issues that you identified. Remember, you can do it like this and it's okay. And you can do it for another column and you still need to do a bit of tweaking to get what you want. It is not a one-way street. Data cleaning is very, very, very dynamic, and that's where it gets interesting. So let's now check our column to see if we're actually okay. So if we load this, we'll see that we have male and female. Now we can now move this to that place by what? By dragging. Remember, I mentioned it yesterday, but I told you that when the data is much, you have to continue to drag and drag and drag. Okay, so I can just move to, let me just move to the beginning, then I drag from there. So the gender should be somewhere close to the email address, right? Or age. Okay, it is here. Let me put it close to this gender. Okay, now let's now cross check. For the one that have F, can you see that they've returned female? The one that have M, okay, we are just, let me use our filter to pick the ones that have data quality issues. So let's just pick them and we'll not check if they have actually been solved, right? I think this M is not solved because we did not put M. So let's see. Now for the one that have M, okay, I think we took care of M, Abby. Okay, yeah, M has been solved. Can you see that they've returned what they should return? You know, if we were using find and replace, we'll be doing one by one, find, replace this, find this, replace this, but this is more direct. And trust me, there is always another way to go about something, but there is a better way, right? Okay, so I've cancelled that reordered step. Oh my god, I have to drag it again. Sorry. So I'm going to move this. Remember, I said if you want to cancel, you have to think twice. But this one was a mistake. Okay, so let's just drag it back to this point. Yeah, and we are good. So we don't need this one again, right? It's a dirty column. So we just do what? We remove this column and we can rename this to what? Gender. Somebody, can you tell me one data quality issue that this gender still has, which is very important? Anybody? I can just see it right now, but does anybody actually see it? It's not that serious anyways, but does anybody see it? Okay. So can anyone tell me what you think is wrong with this height column? There's something that somebody mentioned before that I said.
Values.
What did you say?
Too many values.
Yeah, the dot
Can it be summarized to the nearest?
That's to round up the decimal places.
Yeah, the decimals are too many. That's one. But what other one can we
You can also see there's units attached to the values, right?
Yes, the CM, yeah, is attached to it, yeah.
Insufficient is not.
What's the implication of, what do you think is the implication of that CM?
Okay, that's to show that.
Value instead of numbers.
So it's a categorical data, not a numerical data. It's to convert it.
What did you say?
It's appearing as a categorical data, so it's to convert it to a numerical data.
Yeah. So what's the data quality issue? What is this CM doing to the column? I want that word. I want to hear that word. What is this CM doing to the column? It's their numbers, but this CM is doing something to it.
It's making it inconsistent, right?
The units.
Yeah, it's the units. Yeah, you're not giving me that term that I want to hear.
It's making it inconsistent.
Incorrect data type.
Thank you. Incorrect data type. Look at the data type here. You can see that it's ABC. That means it is text. It's not numbers, right? So it's because of this CM. You know that if this CM was not there, you have numbers. You have it as whether number or decimals. All right, but it has changed it to what's it called? It has changed it to a different data type. So that needs to be solved. But remember that I said something. I said before we go on to be changing data type, we need to first deal with the column, right? Now we have identified like 3 data quality issues. It's more like all in one. Inconsistent values, unstandardized format, unstandardized format, and incorrect data type. Unstandardized format in the sense that these ones are in centimeter and these ones are in a different unit. Now, I can't remember the unit I wanted it to be, but we can just, what other units do we have in height aside from centimeter? That is that can be converted to centimeter.
Meter, feet.
Meters.
Meter, Abi. Okay, how many centimeter? Abi, how many meter make 1 centimeter? Or is it the other way around?
I think I don't know. Best what people usually do is inches. 12 inches make 1 feet. So I don't know about centimeter.
Okay, which one should we now pick? Which data type which unit should we pick? Let's pick meter.
Feet or inches?
Okay, let's pick feet, right? I think feet is 3.3, 34 point something. Okay, let's pick feet. So let's assume that these ones are in feet, right? No, we are not assuming. No, it's our client that told us that these ones are in feet. Then these ones are now in centimeter. These ones have centimeter attached to them. Now, we need to be able to correct that. We need to convert these ones that are in feet to centimeter. Then when we are done, we need to also get rid of this centimeter. That's number 2. We have 2 tags in this one. Number 3 is the data type needs to be changed to decimal because they have decimals, right? Number 4 is they have to be rounded up to maybe one decimal place. Do we understand those 4 tags now for this height column? And do you understand why we are doing that?
Yes.
Thank you. So let's deal with it now. The first thing we want to do is we want to first of all convert the ones that do not have centimeter to the ones that have centimeter. Now, one thing you need to do is that you need to be able to find a pattern in your column when you want to clean. You say, okay, what can help me to solve this problem in this column? Now, what I can see here is that I can see that the ones that don't have centimeter actually do not have centimeter. Yeah, I'm repeating it because I'm trying to state it that this is the condition that we're going to use to solve this problem. Now, we'll use our conditional formatting to say that for the ones that have CM, they should be separated from the ones that do not have CM. We want to separate them in separate columns so that we deal with the one that don't have CM. Then when we are now done, we now come back and marry them together. So they are back to the same format. Let's do it without talking too much. So let's use our conditional column now. So we say if it contains CM, right? Now we want to remember that we want to pick the ones that do not have CM separately. We'll deal with them first. Now our condition will now be what? If operator contains, can you see contains here? Contains what?
The
CM.
gender or the column.
I'm
Is it
sorry.
gender or height?
Sorry.
Is gender or
We
height?
are past
That's
gender.
around height, yes.
Yeah, height. So if height contains CM, right? CM, then it should return the value in the column for us so that it will return those values, height. Otherwise, it should return null. We should not return anything. You know why? Because we want to only deal with this one first. We don't have business with this one for now. So we click on OK. Please, somebody to find out how we can convert meter to centimeter, please. So that we'll just do the calculation. Oh, sorry. It should be does not contain. So let's go and edit it. Remember I said that we can always edit. Now what I did is I went to pick the one that has CM, and this is not the one that we need. So I want to go back to change it. So remember that we can always edit. So we'll just use does not contain CM. I hope we are clear on this one. So we click on OK. So we just edited it and we have that. All right. So how do we convert this to centimeter? Did anybody help me to get that?
1 meter is 1,100 centimeter makes 1 meter.
So 100 centimeter, 100 meter make we cannot. That means we have to divide. That will be too small.
No, we just
multiply by
I want
100.
I want the one that will make
Multiply by
us multiply.
We multiply by 100.
Okay, so let's multiply by 100. Okay. So before we multiply by 100, you know that there has to be numerical column, and this one is having some kind of confused data type. So what you need to go and convert it
Both
to
numerical and
it's having both. That's anything. So we need to take it back to decimal number so that we can do our conversion easily. If it is in that format, we'll not be able to do it. So let's now go and multiply. Remember what I showed you earlier, which is what that what's it called? Statistics. Be standard. Yeah, we'll be using standard. Standard is for multiplying by some certain values. So we use the multiply, and we are multiplying by what? By 100. You type in the 100 and you click on OK. It has been converted successfully. Does everybody?
So how did you
Come
convert
again.
it? What did you come again, please?
Okay, let's go back to the previous step, which is this one. This was where I added the custom column, right? So and I said that we want to convert this to centimeter by multiplying by 100, and you know that we need to convert it to numerical or decimal data type so that we can do the conversion. Currently, we cannot do it because it's having some confused data type. So we'll now go to the data type here and change it to what? Decimal. Or we come here, you know that if you click on this too, you can go ahead and do it here. Then we change it to decimal. But then we insert. This has been added, has been converted. Now we want to multiply it by 100. And remember the statistics that I showed you. You go to statistics. I used to confuse both. Go to standard, then multiply by 100. So it's actually if you want to insert, you know, it's in between some steps that we've done before. So we are multiplying now by what? 100. Then we now click on what? OK. Can you see? All these ones now these are the ones that we've done before. So we need to delete them because we don't need them again. I've done it here again here. So how do we now? I want to show you how you can delete a step and its subsequent steps. So you just go to that step that you want to delete. You want to delete these two, right? You now right click and go to delete until end, because sometimes you would have done a lot of things and you want to delete everything. But be careful, make sure that you actually know what you are doing before you do this, okay? So you delete until end and you delete everything. I'm doing this because I repeated the steps, so not like there was something wrong with what I did. So now we have our column that has been converted to centimeter. All right. Now we have this column and we are okay with what we have for now.
That's the question.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm bringing us back, but for the conditional column, whereby we are working on the operator that does not contain CM. What's the output? Is it height?
It's height. It's the height column that we're working with.
Then the value is CM, right?
This value is not, it was not in CM before. We now took this step to convert it to CM so that it can be the same as the other ones. Do you
So
understand?
column name height operator does not contain the value CM, then output height, right?
No, you're not. Then return height, yes. Then return height if it does not contain CM. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
now you're welcome. So now remember that it was these ones that we dealt with, all these ones like this that we dealt with. Now, what about the ones that contain CM? We also need to bring them somewhere so that we can now merge together. If we merge with this one now, there are some characters, there are some values here already. So we don't want to mess it up. So I'm not going to now extract again the ones that have CM. Okay. So we'll now go to the add column and go to conditional column. So this time we need the ones that actually have CM. So we'll go to the height. Then we say it contains, remember the ones that have CM, and we want it to return what? The value in the column, which is the ones that have CM. Otherwise, return null, right? Now, another thing that we can do is, instead of saying otherwise return null, and we now begin to merge, we can say otherwise return our new column. Then you click on this, then we go to OK. Now, what do we have? The ones that we have done before, they are these ones. The ones that we just did now, they are these ones that have CM. Then we can now go ahead and do what? And replace CM with nothing so that they can be free from their bondage. So we now use what? We use replace. Now, let me show you something. You can see that you're not seeing replace values here in this shortcut key. Sometimes it can happen like that. Don't panic. It does that when it's not really sure of the kind of value that you're having in this column. You know, this column is kind of confused. You have 0, you have CM, you have some that doesn't. So it's really not sure of the kind of data type that you have, because replace values work with data type. So it's really confused. That's why it's not giving you that replace values. So you just go to your own tab, then you now do your replace values directly from here, and you are replacing what? CM with a space. There is a space before the CM, so take note of that. So you are replacing space CM with what? Nothing, right? So that it just returns the number. Then you click on OK, and you have that. Now it's not replacing. It's not replacing, and this happens when it's not really sure. Like I said, it's not really sure. It sometimes it will not replace, sometimes it will not even show it at all. So what I like to do when it's giving me this is that I will change them to a text. I want it to see it as a text, then I'll now replace it and take it back. Remember, data cleaning is dynamic. You have to be able to think ahead and say, okay, if this one is not working, what do I do? So don't even try to even panic or be confused. Okay. So we now go and change the data type back to text so that I can be able to replace. So I've changed it to text now. Can you see that it has changed to ABC? I can now replace my what's it called? CM. Okay. Now there's something that I want to show you. There's something that I want to show you. I told you yesterday that you can move your steps, right? I told you yesterday that you can move your steps. So you know that I have already done replace values and it did not replace before I now went to change it. So this step has wasted actually because it didn't work. But I can decide to bring it down. If I don't want to do it again, I just bring it down so that it now applies after this change type. After I have changed the type, it will not apply. Now let's see. It's not changing again. It did not change. So I'm just going to cancel it and do it again and see if it will change. So I'll go to right click and I'll go to replace values, and I'll replace CM with nothing and see what happens. Can you see that it has gone? What did you say?
Say you didn't include the space.
Yeah, I didn't include the space. I didn't include the space when I did it again. I didn't include the space. It does not really matter, because when you remove the space and when you remove the CM and you now want to change it to text, it's automatic. What's it called? numerical or decimal, it automatically remove any other thing. Even if you have little space, it will remove it because it will not see it as a text again. It's text that can have spaces. So can you see that we have now changed it to everything that has the same format? They are all in centimeter, right? Did we all understand to this point? Chai.
Yes.
Sorry, excuse me, can I ask a question? What if you decide to delete the null values?
There are no null values here. They were not, we don't have null values in this one. And what we were trying to tackle was converting to the same, to make sure that they are all in the same format. They are all in centimeter. That was our goal, not null values. There were no null values there, right? If you go to each of these steps, I don't think you would see null values. There were no null values. This null values was when we added a new column. Where is it? I think it was this place. Yeah, this was the first step we took, and we did this to tackle the ones that have centimeter. We now converted it to centimeter by multiplying up to this point. When we were done, we now went to bring in the ones that have centimeter so that they will enter this place. This is their house. These null places. This is the house of those ones that have centimeter. So we now use the added conditional column to bring them inside, right? And that's when we now have this. Right? Can you see? This was what we had before. The first conditional column. The second one was a way to combine both together, and we used this. Then we now went ahead to change the data type to text so that we can replace centimeter successfully. Then we replaced centimeter and it was gotten rid of. Do we not understand to this point?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
It's only one yes that I heard though. You people should not
Yes,
break
I
my heart.
understand.
I have to yes.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you. Somebody has a question. Who's that?
Yes, please. If we are not in this new column, the custom one column you just create, and even it also have non-value, how can we make both custom and the custom one together? If we are not selected that it will be replaced with the custom value, I don't know if it is
Okay, I understand your question. Now, for example, you have this kind of column. You now have this one.
Yes, ma'am.
You now want this one to enter this place, right?
I want to make it so I in this custom one so we have some known values, okay? And we want to make both custom and custom one, like so that we can remove the known values.
Okay, so what you just do, I've actually thought of going back and doing that step for you so that you see, but because of the time, so I'm just going to show you how you can merge them together. So let's assume that this one is supposed to come in here, this one is supposed to come in here, right? And this one will join this one will join this one. What you just do, you select both, you use your shift key and select both columns. You right click and you go to merge columns. Then you click on OK. Then it will ask you whether you want to put a separator, especially when you are merging two texts together. Maybe you want to put a comma in between, but for now we don't need anyone because you know they are numbers. Then you click on OK. So it will give you a new column. Okay, it's not even going to give you a new column, so it has merged them together. It has joined them together. This is the one that was null. All these ones like this. They were the one that was null. This one are the ones that we just blindly merged together. Who asked that question? Do you understand?
Yes.
So let me take away this step. So this is where we stopped here. So now everything is now what? We don't need this one again, right? We already gotten what we want, so we don't need this one again. So it's just a means to an end. So we'll remove this one. Now we have this one. Now this is our new height, right? And it's in what? It's in centimeter. Now, two problems. They are of text data type and they have too many decimals. So first thing that we are going to do is to change the data type to the decimal, and we are good. Then we round up. We go to our transform and we use our rounding I don't know if I mentioned this rounding yesterday, but we use this rounding to round up. Okay, and it rounds it up. But if you want to
The screen
specify,
is not showing.
my screen is not okay. So yeah, we've converted it to decimal, right? Or what was I saying? Okay, so we wanted to round it up. So round up will automatically round everything up. Round down will round it down. But round, we let you specify the decimal places. So let's say we want it to be just one decimal place. Then we click on OK. So what do we have? Can you see? Right? So our height column is now clean and sweet and sparkling clean. So we can now drag this. Is this drag that I have problem with? I wish I can specify, although I can do that in advanced editor anyways, but I wish manually I can specify where I want it to go to. So I have to drag. Anyways, let's just bring it. Where's the height? So we just drag.
Please go back.
I should go back.
No,
I've missed it.
Continue.
Okay. So drag.
You can right click and move to the beginning.
No, even the beginning said there's a lot of data there. That's why I'm okay. So we have this. So the height column now, we do the same thing. Okay, we do the same thing for the height column. Do I let you guys do it for 5 minutes or 2 minutes? The height column, can you do that? We just do the same thing as we did for the weight rather, not height. Oh, wait, I beg. We'll delete this height. We don't need this one again. For the weight, it's LBS and kg. So should I let you guys try it, or we should just go ahead and do it? It's just, it has a bit of difference. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Are you guys still with me, or you are tired? Hope you are not tired.
I'm with you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So now this one, there's a bit of difference in the sense that some has LB, some has kg. This one, some has cm, some don't have, and they were just plain like that. But this one has two different ones. So we need to think. Now let's do it together. Let's think together. Can anybody just think and walk me through the process of how you think that with what we have used so far, how do you think that we can solve this problem? Okay, let's say we want to convert pounds to, should we convert pounds to kg or kg to pounds? Let's convert pounds to kg now. So I don't know, how do we convert pounds to kg? Can anybody help me think? Any mathematician in the house? Hello? Anybody? Are you pushing up for my hand? How do we convert pounds to kg, my people? Everybody don't mute mic.
Well, Google is saying we should divide the
Convert pound
by 2.205.
1 pound is 0.45.
Hello, I can't hear you.
I said 1 pound is 0.45 kg.
So we multiply by 0.45, Abi?
Yes, approximately 0.45 kg.
Okay. Please, you remind me of that exact number when we get to that point. Okay, so can anybody think of give me his or her thought process? It does not have to be correct, okay, but you can try. Your thought process on how we can solve this problem that we have here. Anybody? Just unmute your mic if you want to.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah, go ahead. Our class started.
It's not me. Sorry. we can use the conditional column.
Okay.
Okay, so hereby we impute the weight as the column name.
Okay.
And then those values that does not contain kg, then the output should be weight. Then the else it should bring out none.
Okay.
Then do it the other way around for IBS.
How about the units that are behind them? What do we now do? We cannot multiply with the units. What do we do?
Replace with nothing.
Thank you. Assistant class captain has stopped. Replaced with nothing. That baritone voice. Okay, good. Okay, I like that. I like that. All right. So, what I think from my own end is that before I even go on to actually using, I can use my conditional column, which is definitely what I'm going to be using, like you said. So you are perfectly correct, both of you guys, perfectly correct. But I am going to do the replacing first to make it a bit simpler for me to do. Now, I would replace the ones that my destination, my what's it called? My units, the units that I'm actually converting to. I would leave it at that. But the units that I'm trying to convert to that one, I would now replace its own unit with nothing so that I can be direct with the arithmetic operation. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm converting from LBS to kg. It is that LBS that I will replace with nothing first, so that I can use my conditional column to now pick it, to remove it and do my arithmetic operation. Now I can remove it and now go ahead and go and replace. But just to make it, I like to do anything that will reduce my number of steps here. So if I see that I can actually do something before I do another thing, and it will still do this, it will still give me the same result, I go ahead to do that. So first off, I'll first replace kg here with nothing. Okay. No, it's LBS that I'm trying to replace. Let me go back. So this is LBS. Yeah. Okay. So we have the ones that we are trying to convert here. So it's now this one that will now bring out from this column. Right? We'll go to our add column, then we'll go to our conditional column, and we say if the weight does not contain kg, then it should return the weight column. Else it should return what? No. Correct? Then we go to what? Okay. It will give me my value. Although the value is confused. So I need to change the data type. So I change this to decimal. And I have that. Achiko. So the next one is, I have to now do what? Where is the auntie that help us to keep our record? What's the number?
0.45.
Okay. So we are multiplying by 0.45. Good. So we'll go to our standard. Now, you know that standard is in this transform. This standard in transform will do the conversion inside the column and will not give you an extra one. But if you use the standard in this add column, it will give you an extra one. So sometimes you might need to have it in a different column, but in this case we don't even need it. We want it to actually happen here. So we'll just do it in the transform tab. Then we standard and multiply by 0.45, Abby?
Yes, 45.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll go to okay. And this one is now in kg, right? Now, I will now use that method that my sister, I don't know who asked then, that asked me how we can merge it. So I'll use that one instead of using the conditional column that I used before. I'll use that one for that kind of step. So in case you have maybe a certain issue that the previous one cannot solve, you can just use this one to solve it. Or if that one is not coming through, use this one to solve it. So let's go back to now pick the one that have what? That have kg. We'll now pick it into another conditional column. So we'll go to the add column, conditional column, and we say if it contains, what's it called? Weight, right? Weight, excuse me, contains kg, then it should return the value in the column, right? Otherwise, it should return null. Okay, so let's see what we have. So we have the ones that have kg. Now we want this one to enter here, this one should enter here, this one should enter here, and so on and so forth. But first, we remove our what? Our kg that we don't want. So we replace values, then we say find kg, replace with nothing, and we click on OK. Now, they are all in kg now, but this one data type is still text. So let's change this one to decimal. Good. Now we have this one, we have this one. What we need to do is to merge them so that this one will enter here, this one will enter here. So just select the first one. Now, when you are merging, right, if you have, this one is a number now, and this one is null, this one is at a value, so it will definitely enter. But sometimes, maybe you have a text here, you have a text here, and you want to merge them together. Like, assuming that they don't have null like this. The one you first select determines how your values will be arranged. If you select this one first, it will be the value that would be, it will be the first value in that cell. Then the second one you select will be the second value in that cell. If you select this one first, it will be the first value, and this one will come second. Do you understand what I just said?
Come again, please.
No, please come again.
If you select this one, and you now come here and use your shift select this one, you want to merge them. This one that you first selected will come first. In fact, let me leave talk and just practicalize it with something. Let me use this one. So SIP diabetics and date of visit. Let's say we want to merge them together. So we select this, and we select this. Then we right click. Select this, right click and merge columns. Then we say OK. Right? What do you have here? You have yes first. The one on the left is the first one. The one on the right is the second one. Now, let's go back. Let me select this date of visit first, and now shift select this one. If I right click and I merge column, let's see what we have. Can you see that the second one now comes first? Hello?
Yes.
So you understand what I said, right?
Yes.
That's what I mean. So in case you are merging text, maybe you are merging first name and last name, and you selected it somehow and the result is not giving you what you want, you should know that that is the source of the issue. Okay, so let's go back to what we're doing. So we select this one, and we merge them together, and we click on OK. So can you see that they've been merged together? Good. And we are good, right? So we just do what? We round them up with the transform. Where's the rounding? Rounding is not working. Anybody tell me why it's not working? It's not activated.
Because it's in a different format.
Because our data is not in number format. It's just the text format.
Don't say format, say data type. Format is different.
Data type.
Oh, sorry, data type.
Format is the one that we just did. Changing from centimeter to meter is the format. Data type is the kind of data that you have in that column. Please don't forget, okay? So let's change this one to decimal now. So we can now round it up, right? So we now round this, let's just round up. Weight does not have to have decimal. So it's good now. So we have weight in, what's it again? Is it kg? Yeah, kg. Yeah. Somebody should come and help me to drag again. Oh, what did you say?
I'm recording.
I'm recording.
Okay, thank you.
So I can delete this one. Right? We are good to go. So that one has been solved. Now, we are good to go. We don't have any problem with this again. No? With the height, the weight. You can see there's no empty cell there. So it's now cleaned. Remember, don't always have data type in your, units in your data here. Put them at the top so that they can have the correct data type. Now, blood pressure. What is wrong with blood pressure column? What you think about it? Sorry, I need to get water. What's wrong with the blood pressure column?
I think the limits are not. They
When
are
the
not
limit
the same.
is.
It's very simple actually. It's just this one in the middle here is different. So is there any doctor here? Which one are we supposed to have? Is it dash or slash? Slash, Abby? I think it's slash.
Slash. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ones that have zero. Is there a kind of average blood pressure that somebody should have?
120/80.
Okay, so we'll just have to replace these ones that are zero with 120/80. Okay, but let's first go and let's first change the dash to slash. Then we'll now deal with that one. Okay, so let's replace dash. I mean, is it dash? Yeah, dash with slash. Very straightforward. Then we click on OK. Yeah, that is being solved. Now, I want you to be proactive and actually think of how we can make sure that anyone that has zero is that has this particular zero is that average that she said. How can we do it?
We can also do replace.
Are you
I
sure?
think filter first, then replace the value.
Hey, that's one thing you should not do. Don't filter first and replace the value. Let me tell you why. When you filter like this, and let's say we just select the ones that have zero. Oh, okay, let me just load more. I used to avoid that load more. Okay, so just click on OK. So when you filter first like this step has been registered. Whatever you do, if I come here and I do replace zero like this and say replace zero with, let me just say 11111, and I click on OK. Can you see that filter has disappeared? The step has been applied on top of that filter, so you cannot get your data back. You only have this. So do not do that kind of replacing on filtered column, except that filtered row is actually what you need moving ahead. Because once you filter, whatever you do will be after that filtering will be done upon the remaining data that you have after you filtered it. Okay, so don't do that, right? So I'll just cancel it now. So we cannot do replace, and I'll tell you why. Why did I say we cannot do replace? If I replace zero with that value, do you know that all this one that have zero here too will be replaced? /90/70. These zeros too will be replaced with that value that you are replacing it with, and your data will be wrong. You have a wrong data set. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, we can use conditional, right? That equals zero.
That person that said you can use conditional column, please let me look for one chilled malt for that person. Do you like malt?
Wine I like.
Which kind wine you like? Just tell me. Tell me, I go use disperse send down. As in, I like that. So you use your conditional column and say that if it is equals to zero, bring it out for me first. Let me deal with it. Then I will now come back and merge it back. Remember, you need to be creative when you are cleaning your data. So you need to be able to think ahead and say, if I do this thing, won't it implicate the other values in that column? Okay. So now let's do it now. So we go to the conditional column, which is in the add column tab, and we say if this value equals to zero, usually bring and come up for me, deal with that first, right? Otherwise, leave it as no first. Let me deal with it, then I will come back to the rest of them. Okay. So I say that if it contains, what is the name of the column again? Blood pressure. If blood pressure contains, not contains, equals to equals to 0. Then you should return the value in the column, which is okay. We can just directly enter the what is it called? The the average blood pressure here, sir, instead of having to go and be doing back and forth. So we just say replace with then give me this. What did you say?
120 by 80.
120 by 80. Or then give me 120 by 80. Otherwise, return what? That value in the column. So it will return the other ones for me. So otherwise, return blood pressure. Say okay. And it will give me a fresh column. I'll have to move again. Try. So let's see. 120 by 80. Or let's check if we have any 0 standalone. Do we have? I think it was at the down. No, we don't. Can you see? Problem solved with just one step. Imagine that we have to separate the one that has 0 from the one that does not have 0. We now deal with the one that has 0. We now combine again. We have like 5 steps. Okay, but this one was just
in this blood pressure column.
I don't think I get that question.
Okay, now while filling the zeros in this blood pressure column, my data does not have blood pressure, does not have 0 in any of the column. Any of the cell, yes. So the only thing I just cleaned there is just the
dash.
The dash, and that's the only thing.
Okay, well, no problem. And that's fine. Maybe my own just gave itself 0. I don't know, but in case we have something like that, this is just how to solve it. Do you understand?
Okay.
So we move again. I think class captain should come and help me to drag this thing. But don't worry, I'll take my cross. So I'll just drag it here. Thank God it's not far this time. Drag it here, and I rename this to blood pressure. You cannot rename the same 2 different columns with the same name. So I'll just remove this since I don't need it again. And I'll change this to blood pressure. Our call has 10 minutes to go. Okay, this cholesterol level is still the same step. So I think you should be able to tackle this one on your own. If you have difficulty with it, send me a DM on Twitter. So this one is still the same. What is it called? It's having a different unit, and also the unit is attached to it. I think we've solved that like 2-3 times now. So you can try this on your own and give me feedback. Send me a mail or send me a DM. Okay. So let's go to diabetics. What is wrong with diabetics column? What is wrong with? If you are telling me what is wrong, be ready to tell me how we can solve it, or even if it's just one of the problems. When you are telling me what is wrong, use the data quality issues term. Okay? So who will tell me what is wrong?
Let me try.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here is like probably a situation whereby you ask, is this patient diabetic? So it's like this answer or the feedback. Yes, the patient is diabetic. No, non-diabetics, and so it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
So what we have to work on it. If I'm probably going with just one, like 2 answers, like yes or no.
Good.
Or diabetic and non-diabetic.
Good. So we either pick either of these. Is it binary? You pick either of them instead of having different kinds. So you mentioned inconsistent values. Now the fact that they are inconsistent will lead to a particular data quality issue. Do you know what that is? Here, a particular data quality issue, which is what? The data type. The data type.
Inconsistent data type.
Yes, thank you. Because it's saying it as text. What if it is 1 and 0 and it's binary? Do you understand? So it is not giving me, and that is because of what Ogene said, that it is not having a certain format. It's still formatting, right? It's not in the same format. So which one should we pick now? Should we pick yes or no, or we should pick diabetics, not diabetics, or should pick 1 and 0?
Diabetics and non-diabetic.
Okay. So the person that just talked now should tell me how we would solve this problem of making sure that all I'm seeing here is diabetic and non-diabetic. What do you think? What steps do you think? Don't say anything. I'll just
Okay, we normally we go back to that conditional format whereby we use the conditional column. So a conditional column with the other with clauses. Yes.
A couple of clauses, right? Yeah. That's good. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Show you too. You like malt, and this one you like.
What I would do?
You are apricot doctor fan. Healthy drinks always, Abby. No wala.
Yeah.
We gather day here, so we send water, plenty water to you. Okay. So let's now use our conditional column. Conditional column try for us today. But let me tell you, you can be working with a particular data and you will not even use conditional column at all. You use find and replace, or you'd use a different one. So it's just for you to know what each of these things do, so that when you want to do them, you cannot think that, okay, this one should give me what I want, this one should give me what I want. Do you understand? So you just try as much as possible to use what you have at your disposal. As you continue to work on projects, you will now begin to learn more and more better ways to go about that thing that you have done in a certain way. Okay, so it's okay to make mistakes and try something and not get it, or even to run into errors. Like I said, errors are not your enemy. In fact, I almost say I like errors, but when I see errors, I'm actually excited that I have a problem to solve, and I try to find out where the problem is. So let's not talk too much and go to diabetics, and we say if it is equals to 0, then it should give us non-diabetics. Does it have a hyphen? Yeah, non-diabetic. So non-diabetic. Is the call giving us warning already? Non-diabetic.
No.
No. That's interesting. So this one is diabetic. Then if diabetics equals to no, right? Then it should be non-diabetic as well. You can just copy and paste actually. There's this health data that I'm working with. Yeah, that reminds me, if you have not filled my survey form and you are following me, please help me to fill my survey form. I'm working on a research. Trust me, that research, I use conditional column tire for the data cleaning. Every time for a particular column, I was just using conditional column I had here was up to 30 or more. Up to 30. I used advanced editor, but it was not giving me the result I wanted. I had to do it manually. So sometimes it can just be your saving grace throughout your data set. So if it is yes, then diabetic, and I think we are good to go. Then else you should just return whatever it sees there, right? So let's pick diabetics. I think this is cool. So let's see what we have. This should be only diabetic and non-diabetic. Yeah. So drag. So where we want it to be, I think we have just one column to go. Are you sure the is not warning us yet, so that we can quickly use the third link?
It's warning us.
Please, let's use the third link. So we'll just deal with these dates and we are done for class. What did you say?
We still have 4 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes now.
Let's use the next link, please. Okay. So we've solved this one. So let's just change the data type to text, right? Which is the almighty date column. Trust me, this column can give you headache depending on how complex it is. Although we don't need this one, so we're just going to be getting rid of all this one here. So I just use my shift to select everything. Then I right click and okay, hold on. Select, right click and remove. Okay, so let's look at this date column now. What is wrong with this date column? Anybody? What is wrong with this date column?
Some of the dates are not even in short dates mode. Some of them are in whole number.
What's the term for that?
And
Like the data type.
Yes, data type. That's even like the number one problem. Data type. Okay.
delimiters.
Delimiters are different. Yes.
Yeah, they are different. They are different. And we have like 0. Most of them, they have no figures there. Just 0.
Yes, actually. That's correct. So those are the issues. So what do you think we can do for one of the issues that you've mentioned?
Well, we can start with the delimiters, like making them uniform. Then we'll now work on the whole numbers.
Good. So we'll just replace, right?
But I have a question.
Okay.
What like if you change the delimiter, the hyphen and the stroke, what's like affects other columns?
No, it's only the column that you are dealing with that
Like
it affects.
the other number, like the other inconsistent number there.
No, it's the delimiter that you are replacing, not a number change.
That will change, right?
Yes, this ones that will change. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start by actually changing the what's it called? The unusual character, which is the delimiter. So we just use our simple replace and replace the so let's replace the dash to slash. I think slash is the standard delimiter for date in what's it called? Please hold on. Come. Okay, so I think this is the standard. I'm not entirely sure. I think it is this one in Excel, but for Power Query, I think it's this one as well. So we just replace this one. Let's see what we have, and they have been replaced. Okay. So the next thing is that we need to change the data type. We need to change the data type of this date. Now, for these numbers that you have here, they're not actually some kind of strange numbers. They are date serial number. Now, if you are familiar with working with dates in Excel, sometimes you would probably import your data, or you will be working with your date column, and your date column will just change rather from date to a series of number. They are called date serial number. So they are actually dates, but they were converted to every date has their serial number. Every single date has their serial from the 2021 from way back. They have number. They can be converted to number. So this was actually converted from how it's supposed to be, which is the actual date, to its own serial number. So what we can do here is to change the data type to a date, and we change it to a date here. So let's see what we have. So it's giving us error for those ones that have the serial data type. Okay. Now, the only way we can solve this one is for us to use the advanced editor for us to be able to actually change this one to data type, and not exactly advanced editor. We can use the custom what's it called? What is it? This custom column here. I don't know if let me see. So let me just give you a brief explanation of what this custom column does. So custom column is more like you are defining what you want to have in that column. Okay? Is you are trying to say that okay, this column should actually contain a certain value. For example, let's say that you want a new column. Let me change this one to diabetics. Diabetics. So let's say for example you want this you want a new column that would actually contain let's say contain a certain value. Let's say you want it to contain let's say the region name. Maybe this region, this data is from Lagos region. I want it to contain the region name. Use the custom function and you just go to this custom function under the add column. Then you click on the, you always have the equal sign, just like you are typing a function, something like that. Then you type in the value that you want to see there. So let's say I want to see Lagos, and you know Lagos is a text, so it should come in quotes like this. Now this custom column can do a lot that I would not even want to dive into today, because you can do some arithmetic operation, a lot of things. Maybe you can, a very dynamic arithmetic operation, maybe this divided by this times this plus this and all of those things. You can do it here. But now what we want to do is I want to show you how you can insert a new value in that column. Then you click on OK. So it's going to give you a new column that has Lagos throughout. Okay, to give you a new column that has Lagos, that is just what this can do for you, the custom column. So what I want to do is I want to use the custom column to work with this what's it called? To work with this serial number. Okay, but first of all, let us actually separate them into a different column. So we say that the ones that have a slash should remain here. The ones that don't have slash should be separate so that we can deal with it somewhere. Okay, so we go to conditional column. Yeah, conditional column again. Then we say that if what's it called? Date of visit contains a slash. If it contains a slash, then it should return. No, if it does not contain, it should be does not contain a slash, then it should return dates. Yeah, otherwise it should be null. So let's go to OK and see what we have. So we have only the ones that actually contain the serial number. Okay, so let's now use our custom function. So we'll go to the custom function and we use just a certain function, which is the date from function. So it's more like we are picking the date from the actual column. We are picking the date from this column, from the values in this column, so that we convert these numbers for us to dates. Like I said, the dates column can be a bit tricky. So let's just use date dot from. You don't really need to bother about this like that, but just it depends on what you are doing. Remember, there are some you can do data cleaning and you don't even have to touch this custom function column. It's when you have problem with your data, a certain problem that you have not thought about it, and what can I do? And maybe you make some research and you now discover that okay, this is clean data. The more you come across problems that you can solve, and the more you solve them, the more you now broaden your own understanding of data cleaning, right? And the tool you are using, of course. So we'll now specify the column that we are working with, which is you pick the column here, which is the date of visit column. So we have picked the date of visit column, then we'll close the bracket and we click on OK. So let's see what we have. Sorry, it should be from this what's it called, custom one column, not this one. So let's go take it back. It should be from custom one column, conditional column. Then we now say that, custom column rather. Please ignore the noise. So sorry, please. So custom column, Then we say that date from the custom one, right? Custom one. So as soon as you type it, you would see the name of your column here. Then we close it. So let's see what we have. Let's see what we have. It's returning error. Let me see. Could not pass the inputs as date value. If it was Excel, it would have changed to the date if we use that data type. I'm trying to think on about what else we can use to convert this date from the serial number to the actual date. Okay, come on, let me see. No, it's not changing to the date. It's not seeing it as the date. This is a challenge. This is a challenge.
Sorry, can we try the date value function?
What did you say?
Can we try the date value function?
Date value function in the custom function. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know if that would work. I'm just asking.
Okay, let's see. Coming. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it back to Excel. So I'm going to take it back to Excel and convert the data type there. Remember, data cleaning is not a one-way street. I'm a part of my tech team in church, and today we are asked to do a certain kind of problem, to solve a certain kind of data quality problem in Google Sheets. And I'm an Excel person, I'm a Power Query person, and even while I was using Google Sheets for that task, I actually tried a lot of things and I discovered that it wasn't working. I even had to use YouTube and everything. I discovered that it wasn't working, and I said to myself that, okay, why don't you take this thing to Power Query and solve it within a couple of minutes and take it back to Google Sheets? And trust me, that was what I did. I took it to Power Query. I solved it within a minute. What I was spending hours, and I was not even joking, hours to work on in Google Sheets. I took it to Power Query, I corrected it, and I took it back to Google Sheets, and I submitted it, and everybody was happy. So this is just to tell you that sometimes you will come across some challenge that you would not be able to find a way around no matter what you do. And you have to implore some kind of wisdom. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is now is that, let's say for example, this data set is for a client. As at the end of the day, this data has to be cleaned, right? So if I can discover that, or I can see that after so much effort, I'm unable to do some certain thing, you need to be able to think ahead and say, okay, what if I try it somewhere else? What if I do it in a certain way and I take it back? And you are good to go. Nobody will say you are not smart. Nobody will say that you don't know how to use it, because you are even smarter by trying to solve the same problem, okay, with another way that you know about. If I did not know that Excel can do it, I will not take it to Excel and say, or Power Query. I will not take it to Power Query and say, let me take it to Power Query and solve this problem. All right. So without long talk, let's just go ahead and go and do it there, and would solve the problem. So I'm just going to get rid of this one, but trust me, I'm going to find solution to this one in Power Query. Except Power Query cannot solve it. That's the only problem. So I'll take this to back to Excel. So I want to show you how. I think somebody told me that I should show you guys how you take this out of Power Query. So if your data is completely cleaned or completely transformed, and you want to take it, you want to save it or take it into Excel, you just go to your close and load here. So if you close and load, it will take it right into your Excel, just like this one. Can you see? It's loading the data here and it brings everything here. So you can see this is your health data. This is the product that we did yesterday. This is it. This is the product. This is the coordinate. This is the sales. So for this health data now, this is what I have. Now, if you want to go back to Power Query, what you have to do is you go on to Query here and you click on Edit. If you click on Edit, it will take you back into Power Query Editor. So that is how you can switch between your Power Query Editor and your Excel. Okay? So let's go to close and load, and let's go and deal with that stubborn date column. I told you date columns can be very, very stubborn. Okay, so we have this one here. So let's try and convert this date and see what we have. So I'm just going to change the format here. Now, in Excel spreadsheet, it is called format, but in Power Query, it is data type. So if I use format, don't say, I don't have said we should not use format. It's called format here in, what's it called, in spreadsheet. But the actual English, the actual data type is data type because you are changing the data type. So let's see if it works here. So we'll take this to, let's use short dates. Short date, right? So what do we have? It's still not changing. It's still not changing. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to paste it as values first and see what we have. Come on, let me see what this one is showing. So I'm going to change this to date. Now short dates. It's still not changing. Okay, it is stored as a text. Convert to number. Let me now convert to dates. I think I'm seeing the reason why it's giving me that. Can you see? It is stored as a text. And oh, okay. Let's go back to Power Query. I think I've seen the problem. Let's go back. Let's go back. So I'll take it to Query and edit. Then we'll go to the new, that one that we created. I hope I've not deleted it anyways. Let's see. Oh, I've deleted it. Let's quickly do it so that I can be sure. So that if we have any kind of problem like that in the future, you already know where it is coming from. Remember I told you that it's all about gaining experience from your challenges, right? So let me take it to the date of visit again and say if date of visit does not contain what? Select column, does not contain, what's it again? Slash, Abby. Okay, slash. Let's enter a value, does not contain slash, then return the column. Then return the column, which is what? Date of visit, and okay. So let me see if it would work now. So let me change it to a number. Number. Okay, and let's now change it to a date. Let's see if it would work. It didn't work. It didn't work. So that means Power Query is not a good fit for that. So let's go back to our Excel and let me show you how we do it in Excel. So we just close and load, and we just solve it in Excel. Power Query is not giving us. So as long as we are cleaning the data, we are good to go. So I'm just going to delete this one. We don't need this one. So what I'm doing is that I'm going to convert these ones to number first. Control Shift down. I convert everything to a number like this. Then I convert them to a date back. It didn't change. But when I copied and pasted as values, it changed. Trust me, data cleaning will test your patience. Your patience. So I copied this. You know it's in a table now. And I pasted it here as a value, right? Pasted as value. Oh, I'm not supposed to put it very close. So I pasted as values, right? Then I now change it to everything to number, like this. Then I now change it back to a date. It's still not changing, but if I change each of them to number, if I change this ones to number like this, it will not change. But I can't be changing everything to number one after the other. I can't change everything one after the other. What I can do is now use that conditional function here. I hope I've not lost you guys. Oh.
Sorry, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, you said you want to like change the whole numbers to date, right? You convert
Yes,
it to
yes.
from number to date, right? Okay, when you're in Excel, what about if you use the filter function? Like you filter just the whole numbers, then you convert them to numbers, then from text to numbers, then to date. Will it affect it?
The thing is that if you use filter and you now click on that column, it will still affect everything in that column. It will still affect everything in that column.
But we are no longer a Power Query now.
And it's the same thing with Excel now. No, what I said in Power Query is if you filter and you now do something else on top of it, you can't get your data back. In Excel, you can get your data back, but what you do will also be applied to every single row there. Do you understand?
Yes, I get.
Yes. So what I want to do now is that now I don't want to lost you guys. I don't want to actually get you confused. But trust me, when you are cleaning a data, you can do a couple of things, especially a date column. You will take some extra steps, which is what I want to do now, right? We are done with the other data cleaning process, but to clean this date column, I want to actually clean it with another step that I have in my head, which is actually using the conditional column to get only these numbers out. Okay. Now we're not going to use Power Query. I shouldn't have even deleted it. I'll go and use Power Query to extract this one. I want this one to be here, only these numbers. So I'll now convert them to number and convert them to dates in Excel. Take it back to Power Query and merge it together. Are you people following me? Do you understand what I'm trying to do? You know, anything to solve this problem. Are you with me?
Yeah.
You're with me, Abby. Okay. So I hope you are not tired yet. Don't worry, after this date column, we are done. It's just the date column. That's why it's the last, because I knew that it was going to actually give us some kind of issue. But it makes us stronger, right? So we have this one here, Abby, now. So we're now going to go back to Excel and let me change it to number here. Let me change it to number here and take it to Excel. So we'll take it to Excel by closing and loading again. Okay, so then we'll now, and I want to copy and paste as values because it's not as values now. So let me put it here. Control Alt V, then V, enter. So we have them as values. So let me see if they are numbers. They are not numbers now. So let me convert it to numbers in what's it called? In Excel. Let me convert them to number and change them back to date. If it does not change, I'm going to beat this. So let me decrease this thing. So let's now change it back to date and see. Short dates. Can you see that it has changed? The ones that have 0 are returning. This is the default. This is the date I was talking about when I said if you want to replace empty date column, this is what you should use. This is more like, I think this is the first date in the beginning of the beginning of the world. Maybe, I don't know. But this is like the default date for Excel. So you can use this date to fill in empty date values. But that's just by the way anyways. But you can see that it has changed now to the actual date that it's supposed to be, right? Anything to make sure that the data is clean. Now we now have this column as our actual what's it called, custom column. I'm not going to delete this this empty cell and delete this one so that I can come close. I don't need this one again, Abby. So I will delete this one and bring it here. So I take it into Power Query again. Did you people follow me to this point? Abby, people have turned back from my back when the going got tough. Hello.
No, yeah, thinking.
Okay. Did you get what I did to solve that problem?
Yes.
Maybe yes is not loud though. It's like you're not sure.
Yes, now.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. I'm happy now. All right. So let's take it back to Power Query. Although I'm not sure if it will pick this column.
Are you still
What did you say?
Are you still recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So
So I was
let me
about to.
let me. Power Query is not picking this. It's not picking.
Can't we replace it here before we move it back to Power Query?
No, what I want to do is I want to put this one inside here. I can do it now. I can say if it contains this, then, but I don't want to do it here because I'll be using a lot of other functions that is not the business of today. So I want to take it to Power Query. Yeah.
Instead of all this whole process, can we not just formula?
Formula.
Yes.
How?
To
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
said, yes. Instead of we going to Power Query, doing the whole long process, can't we just like impute a particular formula and
solve it here?
Yes.
On Excel,
I said I was running from that thing. If people are still dragging me inside, is it by
So Excel has this text function that can convert the numbers to date. So you can try that one.
Okay, what's the function?
Let's try it. Yeah.
What's the function?
It's called to text and then value. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
It will change it to a number.
It will change it to a date.
From the number.
Yes. Everything.
Okay. Oh yeah, let's do it. Walk me through it. So walk with this one. Okay, so let's do it. So what's going to be the I was running away from Excel function, but you carried me inside. So
let's clean everything at the.
No, don't worry. I want us to do it for this column here, right? You know, we've done it manually to get this one. So let's now use the function to now get the same results. Do you understand?
All right.
Okay,
so let's to text.
Okay.
In a bracket. Then you select the date column, right? Comma. Double quotation marks, and then the format we want it. So day / month / year. Yeah. No, another.
Okay.
Right.
What again?
No, that's all.
All right.
I was saying the year should have been like 4 Ys.
Oh. Okay. So let's drag this and see what we have. Good. So it has changed it for us. Does this person like modes? I'm not sure you like modes. I think it's maybe you like what's it called? Origin. Okay, you brought me back to Excel function, but it's fine. So we can use this to solve it as well. The text function actually is very, very dynamic. It helps you to change from a particular format to another format, right? Maybe you're changing from a date from date month year to month date year, or you want to see only the month, you just use only and you're good to go. Well done for dragging me in. But let's just do this. So we have already applied this to the other. It will not apply because of the one that we have here. So let me just put it close to this one. So let's put it close to this one. Just copy and paste here. Yeah. So it's close to the table now. So we can delete this and then we delete this because we don't need it anymore. Unfortunately, we cannot drag in Excel. Oh, sorry. Paste our values first. So let's just copy this and paste as values here. Control Alt V and V. Then we click on OK. So we are good to go, my people. We don't finish them all. So if you take this into Power Query, you still have
Please, it didn't work.
it did not replace. So let me just go and delete it jejely and not scatter what we have done. Let me just delete this one. Oh, sorry. Paste as values. Control copy. Then let's paste as values here. Paste as values here, and we can just delete this one and delete this one. Not deleting because I've copied this. Control minus and control minus. So this is the date. This is the date. Control A, then date. Now, when you are done cleaning your data, now let's assume that we are done. No, I'm not assuming, we are done now. So we are done with this data. So, and you don't want it to be in this one, because when I'm done cleaning my data, I don't like seeing it in this table format. So you just copy everything. You Control A, everything. You copy, then you can create a new sheet, and you just paste as values. Then you just paste as values. So the, what's it called? The date table whatever would go. So there we have it, our cleaned data. I set up for this one that I gave you as assignment. So our data has been cleaned. Thank you to all and sundry. Thank you to the people that contributed. Thank you to the people that did not contribute. And thank you to the people that are owing more. So we are done with the data cleaning. Unfortunately, we were unable to do more on data transformation and data aggregation, but I'm happy that we are able to successfully clean a data set, and I hope that you're able to learn a couple of things from this class. So I am open to feedback and questions. Of course, if you have questions on this class or any other thing, let me stop recording so that others will not hear our discussion.